Good evening, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to welcome you to an evening divine. This evening brings together people from all walks of life by a shared commitment to unconditional love and selfless service. And I am Sai Prasad Evaturi, CFO, One World, One Family Mission. A city is defined not only by its skyline, but by the ideas, aspirations, and service of the people who shape it. Bengaluru is a remarkable expression of this thought. Bengaluru's journey has been shaped by individuals who saw possibilities beyond their own time. From Kempegowda's vision for Bengaluru to the Mysuru ruler's patronage of learning and culture, to the contributions of Sir M. Vishweshwaraya and Dr. C.N.R. Rao, each generation has strengthened Karnataka's legacy of vision and excellence. But there is a common thread that connects them all. They transformed opportunity into impact and success into something that served a larger purpose. On the same note, the One World, One Family mission is founded on one simple yet powerful belief. The world is one family, and no one should be denied the basic needs of life. Through its work in healthcare, education, and nutrition, the mission reaches communities across 100 countries, offering these essential services with compassion, excellence, and completely free of charge. Because access to healthcare, education, and nutrition should never be determined by income. Yet, for billions around the world, it is. And that is why the mission continues to grow and it continues to show up every day to serve, to uplift, and to ensure that every individual has the opportunity to live with dignity, health, and hope. In this spirit, we are deeply honored by the presence of our founder, Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. We are also privileged to welcome many distinguished guests that I see here. Guests, public leaders, partners, philanthropists, business leaders, well-wishers, students, beneficiaries, and members of the One World, One Family. I also see many wonderful government officials and many distinguished people. To every one of you, thank you for being here. And now, as we begin this very special evening, let us begin in the most beautiful way possible with the ancient sound of Vedas. May I request our Vedic students to lead us into this evening with the chanting of Shishya Anushasanam, Vedic invocation.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Shraddhayagni Samidyate Shraddhaya Vindate Havihi Shraddham Bhagasya Murdhani Vachasa Vedayamasi Priyagga Shraddhe Dadataha Priyagga Shraddhe Didasataha Priyam Bhojeshu Yajvasu Idam Mauditam Kradhim Yatha Deva Asureshu Shraddha Mukreshu Chakrire Evam Bhojeshu Yajvasu Asmakamuditam Kradhi Shraddhan Devaya Jamanaha Vayugopa Upasate Shraddha Gumhridayya Kuhutya Shraddhaya Huyate Havihi Shraddham Pratarhavamahe Shraddham Madhyandinam Pari Shraddha Gum Suryasya Nimruchi Shraddhe Shraddhapaye Hamaha Shraddha Devanadhivaste Shraddha Vishwamidam Jagata Shraddha Kamasya Mataram Havisha Vardhayamasi Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Sai Ishwararpanamastu.
Thank you. The One World, One Family mission is rooted in a simple belief. Humanity is one family. Through nutrition, education, healthcare, and rural development, the belief is translated into service so that the dignity is not determined by geography, circumstance, or economic status. When we see the world as one family, another person's well-being becomes our shared responsibility. May I invite you to watch the One World, One Family mission video.
One World, One Family is the ethos at the heart of our mission. This ideal comes from an ancient Indian principle which considers the whole world as one global family. And as a family, we believe all our family members deserve care and support. Across the globe, we serve millions through three main pillars: nutrition, education, and healthcare, all completely free of charge. The Annapurna Morning Nutrition Program began in 2012, providing breakfast for just 50 children, and has since grown to become India's largest morning nutrition program. Today, millions of school children across India and beyond receive the Sai Shore multi-nutrient supplement, helping them begin each day nourished and ready to learn. At our mission, we believe education is every human being's birthright. With a global presence and multiple campuses throughout India, we provide free education from grade 6 to doctorate studies, ensuring every student receives a well-rounded, values-based education that combines high-quality academics with moral values. The Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence opens doors previously unimaginable to children from underserved communities. By offering quality higher education to those traditionally overlooked, and with a strong emphasis on empowering women, we're breaking the cycle of educational disparity and promoting gender equality in education. At our university, students grow across every dimension through academics, sport, yoga, and performing arts from around the world. Meanwhile, our Skill Development Center equips rural youth with job-ready skills, and our scholarship program supports education with thousands of rural children. Our commitment to empowerment is also demonstrated by organizations in the United States and India, which help youth from marginalized communities gain skills for the digital economy, transforming their lives and uplifting their communities. Our campuses are also a place where the world comes together for a cause, welcoming celebrated figures and sporting legends who lend their name and presence to the common goal we all share. Our vision for accessible medical education became a reality in 2023 when Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi inaugurated the Sri Madhusudan Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research, India's first free, private, rural medical college. This institution aims to nurture noble-minded healthcare professionals who are dedicated to serving the underserved members of our society. Our healthcare mission goes beyond treating illness. We're pioneering solutions to bridge critical gaps in accessible medical care. And through our network of wellness centers, mobile hospitals, and multi-specialty facilities, we bring free healthcare directly to underserved rural communities. From preventative care to complex surgeries, at our hospitals, there are no billing counters. Since 2016, we've expanded beyond India to serve communities across the globe with the singular goal of leaving no person behind. Exemplifying this idea, our Sri Satya Sai Sanjeevani centers form the world's largest chain of free cardiac hospitals, giving new life to people with heart defects. And with continually growing needs worldwide, we've expanded our healthcare initiatives with a 600-bed facility that demonstrates our dedication to accessible healthcare for all. As our mission has grown, so too has the family that stands behind it. And thanks to the support and collaboration of governments, global institutions, and leaders from every sector, our reach and our impact continue to widen. We are also proud to be contributing to the advancement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. From ending hunger and poverty to quality education and good health, we work towards these goals in the joint hope for a better future. Yet behind every program and every milestone lies a single unifying idea. At the One World, One Family World Cultural Festival, 100 countries came together over the course of 100 days to celebrate our shared humanity, earning 2 Guinness World Records. And when spiritual leaders gathered at the 2025 World Religion Summit, it exemplified the common ethical and spiritual threads that bind us all together. Our vision is clear. A society where life's value is measured not in wealth, but in compassionate service to those in need. And this vision only becomes a reality with the contribution and generous support of our global family. After all, we are all one world, one family.
Thank you. To take us deeper into this vision and work behind this movement, it is my pleasure to invite a person who has been closely involved in shaping and driving the mission's work. Mr. Bharat Kumar SS is the Chief Operating Officer of the One World, One Family mission, leading more than 80 projects across healthcare, education, and institutional development. An alumnus of Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning and a mechanical engineer and management professional, Bharat began his career in Singapore, building international markets across 30 countries. In 2017, he chose to dedicate himself fully to the mission under the guidance of Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. Since then, he has been instrumental in turning some of the mission's most ambitious visions into reality, including the Sri Madhusudan Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research, completed in just 9 months, and the 6.5 lakh square foot Sri Satya Sai Sitaram Jindal block. His journey is a remarkable blend of professional excellence, speed of execution, and selfless service. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Bharat Kumar SS.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor and a privilege to be standing in front of you, speaking to you about this incredible mission. It's a blessing to be in the loving presence of this personality, Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, who has today become a face for the faceless, a voice for the voiceless, and hope for many who have lost hope in goodness and humanity. You just saw this beautiful video. The footprint of this mission spans the entire globe. From serving the children suffering with congenital heart disease in Fiji, to serving the underserved communities in the United States and many countries and the continents in between, the mission reaches to all those places to serve the unserved and to do whatever is required where there is a need to be fulfilled. It was some time ago that Sadhguru, describing about the mission, he said that this mission seems to be having a mind of its own. And when I was thinking of it, I was reminded of the way these beautiful birds called starlings, the way they move, the murmurations of starlings which are there, they form beautiful patterns in the sky. They respond to each other. They respond to a need. They respond to every motion of the other bird, the neighboring bird. Similarly, this mission too, when one comes to think of it, is something similar to that, because the way it progresses, its trajectory is all about responding to the needs of the society as they present itself every day in every shape, every size, every challenge. So 4 years ago, after the COVID pandemic, played its havoc, different countries of the world, here in India as well, it was in the headlines, it was seen that there is a huge shortage of doctors in rural India. When this came to the notice of Sadhguru, he went to the depth of the matter. Why are doctors not there in rural India? And he realized that because medical education is so commercialized, that the poor students who start with a lot of ideals of service, because of the financial burden that they have to incur to become a doctor, a post-graduation course in that and a super specialty, by the time they finish their education, they are under a huge debt. And the only way they can express their profession, unfortunately, it becomes a means of return on investment for them. So Sadhguru dared to reimagine this. He said, how about we start a medical college which does not sell education but which gifts education? Many people came and said, this is impossible. Can you please tell Sadhguru not to undertake on this venture? Because this is something which has never been done before and it is impossible to do a medical college to run totally free of charge. But he was very clear. He said, it is an idea whose time has come. And then, just as he had predicted, in the year 2023, from the Honorable Prime Minister himself inaugurated, which is probably the country's first or the world's first totally free of charge hospital where there is no laboratory fee, no tuition fee, no admission fee, no fee whatsoever. Priceless education without a price. And when this education is given without a fee to the children who have the hunger in their bellies, fire in their bellies, and aspirations, only magic happens because they will have gratitude towards the society. And with that gratitude, they can go to any part of the country, any part of the world to serve the unserved. Now to those faceless, to those nameless, and to those voiceless, for a moment, let me give a voice, a face, and a story to that. When the first batch of children came to join the medical college, they finished their first year of education, and I had an opportunity to meet one of the children who had come from rural India to join the college. I wanted to know the story of the students there. So this was particularly the story of a girl child who joined our medical college. She was accompanied by her father, who was a picture of what a man from rural India would be. He was from this place called Dharwad, and he was a farmer. So I asked this girl, please tell me your story. What made you, how did you come to know about this college? What has been your journey so far? How has your experience been? And this is what she shared. She pointed to her father and said, Father, can you please tell the story of our lives? The father, in that Dharwad dialect of Kannada, he spoke. He said, I lost my father when I was 4 years old. I had to eke out a livelihood. So I got a job which was in a cow shed. My job was to take care of cattle. And if I took care of the cattle, and his job was to take care of buffaloes actually. If he took care of those buffaloes, at the end of the day, he would not be paid any money. He would be paid rotis. 1 roti for 1 buffalo. 11 buffaloes, 11 rotis. Rotis is Indian bread. This man had 3 daughters. And the story is about the eldest daughter of this family. He decided that this daughter of hers would become a doctor. That their children, his children, would not share the same destiny which he had to go through. At that point, I asked, Sir, how from that place, from a cowshed, how could you imagine that your daughter can be a doctor? And you know how difficult it is, how competitive it is to become a doctor in today's world. At that point, this girl said that, Anna, one day I was down with high fever. There was no doctor in our village. I had to walk for 3 villages to meet the nearest doctor. And after a long wait, when I met the doctor, that doctor immediately gave me a prescription. He did not put a stethoscope on my chest. He did not put a thermometer under my tongue. He did not ask me what my symptoms were. He just gave a prescription, and at that moment I decided that I will become a doctor who will serve. Where can inspiration happen? How can inspiration happen? So this girl child decides that she wants to pursue medicine. So she finishes her 12th standard. In the morning, some government program would have given her the morning breakfast program, the midday meal scheme, and the night when the girl would come back to her family, to her house, the father would be there with the 11 Indian breads, and the whole family would share whatever they had. That year, this man had a small parcel of land, and it was season of good rains, there was good agricultural produce, and he could make 2 lakhs of rupees, which is 200,000 rupees, which is approximately, what, say, $2,000? $20,000, $2,000. And he decided that he would use all that money to train that child to pursue medicine. So he put her in a coaching center. This child studied there. She got a rank which was 100,000 plus. Now, as all of you know, 2 million people take the examination, 1 million qualify in the examination, but there are hardly 100,000 plus seats. So it's a very, very competitive atmosphere. This girl thought that she will not make it, that to be a doctor will only remain a dream for her. She even thought there is no point in appearing for the screening where she can choose. She thought, but somebody prodded her, said, no, please go attend and see. Because pursuing education with that kind of a rank, she would have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars, crores of rupees probably, to even finish her course. She went there that year, 2023, she went to the counseling. And to her surprise, she sees this name of this college, Sri Madhusudan Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research. And they say, to her utter disbelief and amazement at the same time, that this is a totally free of charge hospital, medical college, and you don't have to pay anything. She had to pinch herself. She joined the medical college. Dear sisters and brothers, today she is in the 4th year of her MBBS course. And the kind of institution that Sadhguru has created, it is not just a medical college giving undergrad courses. This girl is part of a program which is called Genomic Therapeutic Research, and clinical outcomes of those are applied on patients. It is a program, 1 student, 1 gene, 1 essay is what they create. That is the kind of exposure that this child from rural Karnataka has had today. At this point, I turned to the father and asked, okay, this story has worked out well, but how did you imagine that your doctor could be a doctor? Your daughter could be a doctor. What made you imagine? What made you dare to imagine? What made you think that this would be possible? He said, my destiny was such that I had to live in penury, in utter poverty. But this land taught me one thing. It has taught me that if you give your best, the Almighty God will do the rest, and He has done the rest for my child. Dear sisters and brothers, this mission has been possible because it is an effort of the collective. People from all over the world have participated in making this dream come true. The ethos of this, the spirit of this mission comes from an ancient text of Maha Upanishad. It says, Aham nijaha paroveti gananalagu chetasam udara charitanam to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It is translated like this. The narrow-minded think that this is mine, these people are mine, they are different. But the broad-minded think and consider the whole world as one family. Dear sisters and brothers, it has been 1 decade that I have left a career in corporate world, and I have had the opportunity of working with Sadhguru. Many people say that, wow, what sacrifice is this? You have left a lucrative job and you have taken to this mission. But today, dear sisters and brothers, I would like to place hand on my heart and say that this was probably the most selfish decision that I have ever taken. The kind of fulfillment, the kind of purpose, the kind of blessedness that Sadhguru has given. Thank you, Swami. And I would take this opportunity. One day I told him, Swami, thank you for this opportunity, was what I told him one day. Thank you for this opportunity. Life is much more beautiful now. Life is much more purposeful now. And he said, thank you for taking this opportunity. Thank you for taking this opportunity. So today, dear sisters and brothers, on behalf of the One World, One Family mission, I would like to invite all of you to participate and take this opportunity and experience the blessedness of what it feels to expand one's consciousness and live a life on the lines of one world, one family. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear Bharat, for the truly inspiring and enthralling piece of oration. Now, it is my privilege to introduce Sri B.N. Narsimurthy, Chairman of the Prashanti Balamandir Trust, an engineer by education, an eminent educationist, author, and institution builder. Sri Narsimurthy has devoted more than 5 decades to the cause of values-based education and service. He has been closely associated with the educational institutions of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba since 1968. He was among the founders of Prashanti Balamandir Trust and has played a foundational role in shaping its vision of education as a means to build not just brilliant minds, but competent hands and compassionate hearts. He is also the chief mentor of the Sri Satya Sai Lokaseva Gurukulam and has been a guiding force behind its remarkable educational journey. A teacher, mentor, and author and institutional builder, Murthy Anna, as he is affectionately known, represents a lifetime of wisdom placed at the service of the next generation. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming Sri B.N. Narsimurthy, sir.
Invoking the blessings of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, I place my loving pranams at the lotus feet of Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, who is taking the mission of Baba forward in a glorious way that we ourselves can experience and see. Esteemed guests, dignitaries, loving brothers and sisters, on the eve of the 80th Independence Day of our great motherland, I take this privilege to offer my greetings to every one of you gathered here. It is such a significant coincidence that we are a part of this wonderful function on the eve of our Independence Day. The famous German-born British scholar Max Muller asked a very pertinent question almost 6 decades ago. If India dies, who lives? If India lives, who dies? Brightest minds all over the world, irrespective of their nationalities, they saw hope in the Indian wisdom, which was handed over to many generations since eons by the wise sages of our country, the great rishis. At the end of the Second World War, the celebrated historian Arnold Toynbee was in a kind of depression. And he made a statement which will make every one of us proud. He had seen one young man being killed every second for over 4 or 5 years during the Second World War in Europe. Every second, one young man was killed. Naturally, there was reason for his melancholy, but he made a statement talking about the glory of our country. I quote him, at the supremely dangerous moment in the history of the world, there is only one way of salvation. It is the Indian way. And what is this Indian way? Many great seers and saints of our country have lived that Indian way and have shown the path. And today we had Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba teaching the world the Indian way of life. And his illustrated disciple, Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, who is here, is also taking this message in both precept and practice to every corner of the world today. And many times, when Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai is traveling in the West, they ask him a question. You are adored as a Sadguru or a universal teacher. Which yoga are you teaching? Which pranayama are you teaching? Which dhyana or meditation you are teaching? And Sadguru just smiles and says, I am not teaching any yoga. I am not teaching any pranayama. I am not teaching any dhyana. It's not that you should not do it. I am teaching the simplest path for one's own salvation and salvation of the world. What is it? He says, actionable compassion, which expresses itself as selfless service. Many thousands of years ago, Acharya Chanakya said this. You can find this particular verse in Chanakya Niti Darpana. The ultimate wisdom, he talks about the ultimate wisdom. Yasya chittam dravibhutam krupaya sarva jantushu tasya jnanena yogena mokshena kim jata bhasmalepanaihi. If there is a person whose heart melts for the misery of every being in the world with compassion, why does he need any other wisdom, jnana? Why does he need any other salvation or liberation, moksha? Kim jata bhasmalepanaihi. Why should he have a long hair? Why should he smear his body with ashes? This is a question which he asks. Therefore, the supreme wisdom, the ultimate wisdom, expresses itself in selfless compassion and in selfless service. And that is the only teaching that Sadguru has been teaching, and the kind of work that has been achieved in the last 15 years. I had the great fortune of living with Satya Sai Baba and serving in his mission for 45 years. And after he gave up the body, I came back to Satya Sai Grama from Puttaparthi and Whitefield as per his command, which had told me 2 years before he gave up the body. He said during his last visit to Satya Sai Grama Muddenahalli, which has today become the global headquarters of the One World, One Family mission led by Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. In 2009, he told me he had taken me from Muddenahalli in 1983. After 27 years, he told me, it is time you come back to Muddenahalli, you have your work. The ways of the masters cannot be understood by mortals. I was wondering, why should I come back to Muddenahalli from where Baba himself took me and I am living with Baba? And I didn't know why he wanted me to go back. After he gave up the body, I came back. And naturally, like millions of devotees of Baba, I was also mourning. I was not able to come out of mourning. But it is Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, within 2.5 months after Baba left the body, came to Muddenahalli, and all our mourning ended. And it is only celebration after that, the kind of wonderful work that has happened, establishing in last 15 years nearly 30 educational campuses and at least 15 hospitals, many of them super specialty hospitals and one multi-specialty hospital in Muddenahalli, and hospitals outside in the just the backward countries, what we call people don't have means for any kind of healthcare. Forget about specialized healthcare. Hospitals in Fiji, Sri Lanka, and Nigeria, and 12 spiritual and service centers across the world, at least one or two in each and every continent. It is most unbelievable. And all this, God did it through Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, who is sitting here. And it is a great opportunity on this wonderful evening for all of us to listen to him. And we are going to see the celebrated musician who is sitting right in front of us, Mr. Ricky Kej. He is the one who is going to ask questions to Sadguru. I will not stand between you and them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear Narsimurthy sir, for those wonderful words. We have heard about the vision and the purpose. The most meaningful way to understand the impact, however, is through the voice of someone whose life has been touched by it. Behind every program and every number is a person, a story, and a future. It is now my privilege to invite Shrisha Rokaya from Nepal, a grade 11 student from Nallakadranli campus, to share her experience.
Offering my salutations to the Almighty, respected elders, guests, and everyone seated here, a very good evening to one and all. My name is Shrisha Rokaya and I'm studying in grade 11. Today, I want to share with you not just a story, but a journey. My journey from loss and loneliness to belonging. I was born in a small village called Humla, tucked away in the mountains of Nepal. I am the youngest in my family and the only girl among 4 brothers with a big age gap between us. But before I could even form memories, I lost my mother. I was only 1.5 years old when she fell ill. My village did not have proper medical facilities. It took nearly a week to reach nearest city. By the time we got there, it was too late. I lost my mother because my village did not have access to proper health care. When I was 4, my father sent me to an orphanage in Kathmandu. He was not financially able to provide education to me and my brothers. He also feared that society would treat a motherless girl differently. At the orphanage, Dr. Rashmi Thapa became my guardian and savior. She cared for many children like me. I will always remain grateful to her. But my journey did not become easy even after that. I had to receive formal education, I had to walk nearly an hour to reach school. There, I experienced something very painful at a young age. Children were often divided by where they came from. Those of us who came from orphanages always sat apart from the children who had families and were from wealthy backgrounds. There was always a gap between us. It was one of the most painful experiences of my childhood. Then, by divine grace, my life took a new turn. During the COVID years, I heard about Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba and a school established in his guidance in Chikbalapur. In grade 6, I was given the opportunity to join this campus. From that day, my life entered a completely new chapter. Here, no one ever asked me where do I come from. No one ever asked me why I do not have parents to visit me on Parents' Day. No one ever made me feel different because my journey is unlike that of others. Here, I am simply Shrisha, a student of this campus equal to every other child around me. What moves me the most is not only the quality of the education, food, and shelter that I receive. These are the things I could have never afforded on my own. What touches me the most is the way they are given, with unconditional love and selfless service. Often, my needs are met even before I ask. This kind of care does not come from duty, it comes from pure love. And that love has given me something greater. It has given me a family. I feel I belong to a large family, a family that chose me, and now I choose to belong. This place gave me dignity, it gave me confidence. Most importantly, it gave me the belief that I matter. So, to everyone who has contributed through your time, your resources, your kindness, or simply your presence, I offer my heartfelt gratitude. You may never fully know what your support means to a child like me. You have given us not only education, you have given us hope, you have given us confidence, you have given us a future which we once did not dare to dream of. Therefore, I offer my deepest gratitude to our Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. He is the reason I am able to stand here today and speak with this confidence. With the deepest respect and reverence, I bow to my master. I remain committed to his vision and to the One World, One Family mission, and I pray that I may serve this mission throughout my life. Today, with the support of our donors and well wishers, I am preparing for my NEET examination. But the education I receive here is not limited to academic knowledge. It is rooted in values. It has helped me to understand my true purpose of life to serve those in need. Here, I have learned to place others first and myself last. This understanding inspires me to discover my true potential and follow my inner calling. My dream is to become a doctor and return to my village. I want to provide basic medical care which my family could not afford when my mother was ill. I do not want another child to suffer the way I did. Thank you for giving a girl from Humla not just an education, but a family, a purpose, and a place she can truly call home. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Shrisha, for that sharing of those experiences. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to what promises to be one of the most special moments of this evening, a conversation. Not a formal speech, not a presentation, but a conversation about ideas, creativity, humanity, the world we live in, and perhaps the world we hoped to create. We are deeply privileged to welcome two remarkable personalities. Our founder, Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, and Padma Shri Dr. Ricky Kej. Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai is a humanitarian and spiritual leader whose work advances a model of compassionate leadership through service. Rooted in the timeless Vedic ideal of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family, the Sadguru has transformed this principle into a living model of service. What distinguishes his leadership is that these are not merely ideas he speaks about, but the principles he lives by. For Sadhguru, true leadership is not measured by what one gains, but by how many lives one is able to touch, uplift, and transform. Joining him is Dr. Ricky Kej, recipient of Padma Shri, three-time Grammy Award-winning music composer and environmentalist. With a career spanning international collaborations and powerful musical works centered on nature, sustainability, and human values, Dr. Ricky Kej has used music as a platform to inspire awareness and positive change. His work has taken him to prestigious global platforms, including the United Nations. Now, before this special conversation with Sadhguru, let us take a moment to discover the man behind the music, the message, and journey. Here is a short video that offers us a glimpse into the remarkable journey of our host, Dr. Ricky Kej.
Internationally renowned Indian music composer and environmentalist, a U.S. Billboard #1 artist,
3 times Grammy Award winner. He's won over 100 awards.
Ricky Kej.
Ricky Kej, our champion for nature.
I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Ricky Kej. Ricky has been inspiring and he is one of our champions.
My brother Ricky, I'm really proud of you as always.
And the Grammy goes to Winds of Samsara.
I'd like to thank the Recording Academy. Asatoma Satgamaya Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you.
And the Grammy goes to Stuart Copeland and Ricky.
In India, we've got a saying called as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which literally means the world is one family. Live in peace with all entities on this planet, whether it is the animals, the wildlife, the forest.
Stuart Copeland, Divine Ties, and Ricky Kej.
Namaste and thank you.
Climate change is absolutely real. Climate change is human-induced, and our actions are affecting countries on the other side of the world.
Dr. Ricky Kej.
Glorious. This evening brings together the legacy we inherit, the opportunities we receive, and our shared responsibility to give back. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai and Dr. Ricky Kej for this special fireside conversation on the one world, one family, and the possibilities of a world that lives as one. Thank you.
First of all, huge honor for me to be over here in front of you, Sadhguru. And in fact, we've met a few times in the past, but this is the first time we are actually going to have a proper conversation. So I'm really excited about it, really honored about it. And there are so many questions that I want to ask you. And, going through your life and, and I've learned so much about you in the past few years, through television and through the internet and of course, reading about you. And I've sort of realized that if we have to put everything into a nutshell, in terms of what you've been doing, it is, in my own words, and in my own words, I would say that you take care of human beings, okay? You take care of human beings even before the time they are born, and take care of them through their childhood in a very holistic manner till the time they become adults. And after they become adults, you still do not give up on them till the day they die. And, maybe even beyond that. And at the same time, you build an ecosystem around taking care of all of these human beings, which positively affect millions of people all over the world. So that's exactly, I think a big round of applause to Sadhguru for this. And so I wanted to ask you now, one world, one family. What exactly does that mean to you?
Thank you so much. And after watching your video and your larger-than-life personality, I feel a little worried talking to you. You have done so much in your life and you have made us all proud as Indians, took Indian music, took the Indian story of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and also you have taken the idea of the whole world being a family and including the animals and the planet and everything. And that's wonderful about what you have done. So thank you for having me here and having this conversation. And I also want to thank all the dignitaries before I begin answering. There are very many wonderful people, political leaders, social leaders. There are people from industry and eminent people from Bengaluru city and around, and as special guests, Lola and Drew, who have come all the way from the US to be with us. So I want to convey my regards to everybody. Namaste, and of course, happy Independence Day that's coming up tomorrow. The world being one family is not my personal idea, as you know. This has always been the Indian ethos from the time immemorial, ever since man kind of became Indian from that point of view. Our sages and seers thought of everybody as a family. That's there in the Upanishads, that's there in the writings of great many sages. And I was just in North Karnataka and I remembered Basavanna's Vachana, which says, Ivanarava, 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 in Danisidharaya, Ivanamava, 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 in Danisaya. Means do not ask who are these, who are you, who are you. Consider everybody as your own. These are our people. But that idea resonates with every Indian, especially me. And I think to me, considering everybody, not just those who are related to us by blood relations or through some other ways, but considering everybody as a part of this huge family of humanity, and that includes animals and plants and everybody else also, is the Indian way of life. So if we want to call ourselves Indian, especially on this eve of the 80th Independence Day, I would recommend that we also believe that the whole world is a family. So that's how Indian one should be, according to me, if we talk about true Indianism. And I think India has always stood for that. We have assimilated all the cultures, all traditions, all people, all religions and philosophies from all walks of life. And India is such a beautiful synthesis of all the world cultures. And that is something that makes us truly proud as Indian. And I want the whole world to feel like that. You go anywhere, you feel you are with your own family. You have your friends and family everywhere around the world. I think that is the only solution for the present situation in the world as we see. You see where us versus them is what is going on. So I think This idea is very timely, and to me it's very important, and that is why we named this mission as One World, One Family mission, because it simply speaks to the heart of the other person. It's very easy to understand and appreciate, and that's how important it is to me, and that's what it means to me.
Excellent. Very, very well said. Now, uh, when we speak about the word compassion, because the word compassion is used a lot, when it comes to in relation with you. I've always believed, or rather I've been taught my entire life that, there are 3 stages of human emotions when it comes to problem solving. The first stage is sympathy. You see somebody on the street and somebody who's in need, and you feel sympathy for them, you feel sorry for them, you feel pity for them, and that is sympathy. The second stage is empathy, where you feel their problems are your problems, and you feel empathy for them because you take their problems and you really feel for them, and you feel empathy for them. And the third stage is the most important one, which is compassion, where you actually do something about that problem, You solve that person's problem, and it's not necessarily a problem that you're facing, but you're solving a problem for somebody else. Now, the girl who spoke before us, Shrisha, I thought she was absolutely fantastic because she spoke from the heart. She spoke, I think a big round of applause for Shrisha. And what I felt that entire speech, and I even stood up and I gave her a standing ovation because I was so moved by how she spoke and what she spoke about. I feel that she spoke all about the compassion that she felt coming from you. So I just wanted to give you a chance to just respond to her, what would you like to say in response to whatever she said?
Definitely she made us all very proud by the way she expressed her thoughts, and they were pure, they were honest, they were from the heart, as you said, because she has lived that life. It is not somebody's borrowed experience that she's sharing, so obviously it has that weight in her words. But to me, Shrisha is just one representation of hundreds of girls and boys who are studying in our institutions. I can't get them all on the stage, but Shrisha is a good idea for you to understand. And if you come to our school and if you start giving standing ovations, you'll have to stand all day long, because every one of them are so wonderful. And sometimes I really thank my stars that it could have been anybody else helping Shirisha. It's God's grace, it's Baba's blessing that it has come to me and our team, that we could help some girls so far away in Nepal. Where is Nepal? Where is Mudenhalli or Chikbalapur? But she gets to know about us, flies all the way, gets the admission, and such a smart and, such a articulate girl, standing in front of a large crowd. She's just in 11th grade, and speaking about what her life's experience is without an iota of shyness or fear. And then committing to the cause of serving this mission, wanting to go back to Nepal, finish her medical education, which is now a cakewalk in our institution because you have that available right across the road and for no charge whatsoever. So she can definitely be a doctor tomorrow. She'll go back to Nepal. And that's Mother India's gift to Sister Nepal, I must say. That this is how Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is being lived every day. We didn't ask, you're from Nepal, what are you doing in India? And why should I give you education for free? You don't even belong to India. We don't ask these questions. And that is what makes India what it is, what she is. Truly a mother for everyone. And that story of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is a reality today in the lives of Shirisha and so many, many boys and girls. And I just kind of add this also to you because we have a school in Nigeria as well. And that's a typical Nigerian school which was started by a Christian priest. And he came and he told, there are a lot of kids suffering. What can we do about it? We went all the way to Nigeria in a place called Enugu. We started this school, and last time I went to celebrate Christmas with them in Nigeria, with the kids. This was like 3 years ago. We lost the priest, unfortunately, to the COVID, but then there are others who are looking after. So once I finished, I told them, we have started a medical school in India. It's for free. If any one of you wants to come and study, let me know and we'll make the arrangements. I just made the announcement. There are 1,000 kids. I didn't even know who heard and who did not and whether they really understood and believed. So when I was going back, I got inside my car. It was so dark, there was no street lights, nothing. And as I was going, there was a tap on the window of my car. And then it's dangerous to lower the windows in such places. But in that dark of the night, I lowered the window to see two kids outside the window. They were Nigerian kids, dark as the night. You can't see a thing. And they were trying to get my attention. I asked them, what do you want? And they said, we just heard you say about the medical school. Is there any possibility of us coming to India and studying in your medical school?
How old they must have been?
They must have been like one maybe 16, 18 years old kind. Yeah, that is the age of the kids because they're just finishing their schooling. The other might be 20 or 21 who would have finished his schooling. And I said, of course, we will get in touch with your teachers and we'll make arrangements. Now these two, the girl by name Precious and the boy named Christopher, they traveled to India. There were a lot of visa hurdles. We got it all sorted. They came to India and their academics and our academics don't match. So they stayed here, studied for 2 extra years to match up to the NEET requirements. They cleared the NEET and last year they joined us in our medical school, these two Nigerian kids.
Wow, wow.
One of them is an orphan. The other one has a family. The girl has a family. But she told me horror stories. She would say they would be scared of walking across grass fields because grass is very tall in Nigeria. And you could get abducted on the way to the school. So it was such a fear to even walk across a grass field to come to your school. And the other boy had lost his mother quite early and the father just abandoned them and walked away. That happens all the time there, I believe. And his grandmother was raising him and he was doing odd jobs and somehow surviving. So you see, there are kids everywhere who need this help. And this is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. You're a Nigerian kid, you want an admission in medical school. Obviously, it's an uphill task for them. They are not coming from the same level playing field, but they also got an admission. Tomorrow, I'm sure Shrisha will be getting an admission as a doctor. We had the girls' stories of Dharwad, girls' story with Bharat was telling. And that is the difference that this mission is making to the lives of kids. So I think, yeah, Shrisha is just one of them, but there are hundreds of them. And you'll have to stand probably all week long if you want to appreciate every one of them.
Absolutely brilliant. Imagine that, Indian doctors going all over the world and serving their own communities so beautifully. Now, since you mentioned Nigeria, I also read that you've got one of the largest networks of pediatric hospitals all over the world. It's in Nigeria and Sri Lanka and USA, of course, in India, in Fiji. Could you tell us a little bit more about that as to why you felt that this was essential?
It was in, I think I'll take you back in time. When I was just a 17-year-old boy, I was entering Puttaparthi to write my entrance exam for the institute there. And I came all the way from Chhattisgarh. I was born in Chhattisgarh, not in Karnataka.
What were you studying for? What did you want to become?
I just wanted to get higher education because I could not afford it back there in Chhattisgarh. So I just came because we knew Baba and we knew there is an institute which gives free education. So we just came. And when the bus was entering the Puttaparthi town, the first thing you see is a huge monument in a huge palatial structure, which is the super specialty hospital, which was built by Baba in 1991. And this is 1996, the summer of 96, when I was entering. And I saw this and I asked somebody. My parents didn't even come with me. I came with another guardian whose son was also about to write the exam. And I asked, what is this? Is this the palace of Baba? Does he live here? And he laughed and said, no, this is a hospital for the poor where the treatment is given for free. And I was stunned. I said, who builds a hospital like this for poor? He said, Baba does. And he gives it to everybody for free. That was my first introduction to Baba. I had not even met him by then. And then I thought, we also, if we had a hospital like this in Chhattisgarh, how wonderful it will be for the tribal kids and all the poor people who live there. It just was a passing thought. And you see, several years down the line, probably 10, 12 years down the line, the first hospital we built was in Chhattisgarh. In 2012, this was open. And the cause was picked up by our chairman, Dr. C. Srinivas, who is a Bengalurian, but went all the way to Chhattisgarh to help start the hospital. And when he was talking to people, we started as a cardiac hospital because it's an expensive specialty and not many hospitals provide it for the poor at a subsidized or a free of charge rate. So we started with that, but then as we were doing work, it was realized that while there is possibility of adult cardiac surgeries in many places, children's cardiac surgeries are not happening. There are very few specialists and very few hospitals, mostly in south of India. In the north, there were very few, and most of the children were born with congenital heart diseases were in north because of the poverty. So in India, even today, 1% of children born, newborns, are born with congenital heart diseases, which means around 250,000 to 300,000 people every year are born, and most of them don't see their first birthday. But these are possible to correct. These are there is a possibility to save them. So I think that led to the first hospital on child heart care. Today it's grown into another very large hospital facility. Then we built in Palwal near Haryana, close to Delhi. Then in Kharghar in Mumbai, now in Hyderabad, which is in Siddipet. And then we have, of course, Mudanali Hospital, which does both adult and pediatric. We also started something in Fiji because while we were traveling, I think it was Dr. Srinivas who saw in a newspaper that there were many kids in Fiji who were born with similar disease and they had nowhere to go. They had to go to Australia, New Zealand or the US, and it was very expensive. 100,000 Fijian, or let's say close to 50,000 US, they cannot afford it. So when he was mentioning that, it occurred that why don't we do something here? Fortunately, we had a very good team over there, a family called Tapu family. And then they talked to the government, they gave us land. I got a lot of people from around the world to donate for the hospital. And today that hospital is doing very well. Likewise, in Sri Lanka, we found somebody, we started a hospital. In Nigeria, I mentioned the priest came, we started with the school, then hospital. And in the US, very interestingly, we were in the Mississippi region, which is what you call the underbelly, we can call, of the US. Mostly African-American communities live there, and a lot of rural hospitals shut down during COVID there.
That was the land of Tom Sawyer.
Tom Sawyer. Yeah, but that was a better part of the story of the Mississippi. But that was also the land of slave trade.
Absolutely.
And that was one of the worst hit because of the slave trade in those days, especially this Clarksdale area, which is also the birthplace of the blues, Muddy Waters, and maybe you would be interested in that. So that is where blues started. And so we went there and saw the absolute misery, and there was a local hospital which was shutting down because of want of financing or whatever doctors. So we supported with a handsome grant. We started a free clinic now that serves the patients in and around that region of Clarksdale. So this is how we just kept walking, and we found causes that we could serve, and people came to us. So pediatric heart came like that. Then we found there are no doctors to do this. Now, therefore, we started a medical school and we are training people to be surgeons, and that would help us to also run these facilities in the future and provide the same quality care at no cost to everyone. And these children will travel around the world, I'm very sure. We are trying to come up with another one in Malaysia. So people come and ask us for help, and then whatever we can do, we are doing. So that's how the journey started, and today we have done over 42,000 pediatric heart surgeries and interventions around the world.
Absolutely amazing. So you mentioned that you were young when you first got to know about Baba, and you told us about that story. Now I'm very tempted to know when was it in your life that you felt that you needed to dedicate this life to serve other people? So that is part one of the question, and part two is that I've been to your Mudaneli campus, and one thing that was very inspiring, and also I keep hearing whenever people talk about you or whenever there are events around you, the word free is used a lot, because every single facility that you provide, whether it's education, whether it's health, whether it is music, or whether it is, wellness, whatever you provide is always provided for free. The hospital that you have, there is absolutely no cash counter over there, which is very shocking, a hospital without any cash register or cash counter. So to repeat my question, when did you realize when you were younger that you wanted to dedicate this life to serving other people? And this free thing, how did that happen? And why do you do that?
I think being born in a very deprived state of Chhattisgarh automatically sensitizes you to the needs of the poor and downtrodden. So that was always in my heart that something should be done about all of them. My parents were government servants, so we were kind of okay. Not like very well to do, but we were just okay. I got a government seat. I was studied in Kendriya Vidyalaya, so life was okay. But then I always felt something for them. I think it was like, there was already the spark. It just needed some fanning, and the fire would come. And Baba did just that. When I came to Puttaparthi, I saw what he was doing for humanity. Water for millions of people, drinking water in that arid desert like Rayalaseema. And then you built hospital over there, then you built colleges and universities, you're giving free education, and I'm myself a beneficiary of it. Now, all these really made me think that if I must do something with my life, it should be this. So I actually went to him after my MBA. So I did my BSc, MSc, and then an MBA, and I went to him and told, can I work for you here in this mission? And he said, no, not here, but I will let you know when the time is right. And I kept waiting. I came to Bangalore. I worked in a bank in Bangalore for 6 years. I was into investment banking and private banking, they call it. So I learned a lot about the world and the ways of the world, investments, stock markets, global financing and economics and things like that. But then I was not happy doing this. I always wanted to go back and do something. So I would go back often and ask him, but he would say, I'll let you know, I'll let you know. But he'll never let you know. So I would wait, and he passed, the time came when he passed on. And that was like a very difficult moment for me. And that is when I think you really felt intensely that what am I going to do now next? Where are my answers? I had so many questions in my mind to what to do with my life. And that's when I had a very deep spiritual experience. And I think as Indians, we all know these gurus are known for such things. You know, there was Ramakrishna to Swami Vivekananda, there was Yukteswar Giri Maharaj to Paramahansa Yogananda. You can, in similar parallels, you can think Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba kind of guided me to my destiny. And he gave me the idea that this is what I was meant to do, which I always wanted to do. But he guided me from the beyond. It's a spiritual experience, hard to describe in words. But with his constant presence and guidance, which I felt in my heart, I kind of abandoned everything else, including my job and investment banking and whatever else I was doing, and literally bootstrapped and started this mission in 2011. And from there, I met Sri Narasimhamurthy ji first in Satya Sai Grama in Mudenhalli. He welcomed me with open arms. He was my warden in my hostel in Whitefield. So once upon a time, 96 to 99. So he welcomed me. He said that if you have this guidance from Baba and you think your heart wants to do this, we are all with you. We will definitely support. So we started with a school. That school grew into a university. Several schools came up. Hospitals came up. Dr. C. Srinivas, as I mentioned, who was also instrumental in building the Whitefield Hospital of Baba. He became a part of this. He started the hospital wing of things. Anand and Sai Prasad, who was just speaking, they started the Annapurna. So it all happened at the...
No, but did it scare you that you're doing all of this for free, and how are you going to sustain it?
Actually, I didn't ask these questions to myself. I thought that is how it should be. Because Baba always gave it for free. He said, everybody is our family. And if you treat everyone as a family, how can you charge them? You don't charge your own wife. Now, in today's times, we don't know. But then in those times, because I have been a banker, I know wives coming and telling, open my account, don't tell my husband about it. And then husband comes the next day, says, this, open my account and don't tell my wife about it. So I know all this. However, Baba's philosophy, everybody's ours, especially the poorest of the poor. So my idea is survival of the weakest, not the survival of the fittest. That truly defines a society. And weakest cannot even pay for what you are
Very well said.
asking for. So that is how we started. It is a difficult path. You see, in the world which is so commercialized, everything is, it's kind of priced at something. And there are no free lunches, as they say. Doing this for 15 years now and growing it constantly, scaling it up, sustaining it is a Herculean task. But I think there is a lot of faith in what we do. We are very convinced about it. And two, I think just because of our conviction and faith in ourselves, the world believes in us now. So there were questions asked. There were a lot of difficulties. We went through ups and downs. I think this mission tests you before it accepts you. We went through our tests also, highs and lows. But I think now we are quite confident. We still do the hard work. That's non-negotiable. Every day we wake up, we work, and we work. And every night we sleep and we wake up again to work. But we work happily, we work joyfully, like Bharat was telling. It is not a sacrifice, it is a selfish choice. That he gave up something lesser for something bigger. And he works very hard. And somebody told me, Swamiji, we are working 24 hours in the mission. I said, that is the minimum. If you can work a little more, I'll be happier. But then, unfortunately, there are only 24 hours. Idea is that people work happily and joyfully because it's their heart's calling. And that runs this mission. And thousands of people have contributed to this. And the last 15 years is just miraculous. I came, we were in a deficit of 50 lakh rupees. We were not able to run a school. And today we are running universities, medical colleges, hospitals. Purely divine grace, combined and coupled with these human efforts, selfless efforts. I think that is the secret. And yes, anybody who walks this path will be tested. You can't escape that. But only when you pass the test that you get promoted. So I think we had to pass many tests in the way.
Beautifully said, absolutely. I think a big round of applause for that. So do you believe that health is a human right? Do you believe health and, medicine and health is a human right?
I truly believe nutrition, education, and healthcare is the fundamental human right. And if you can ever get United Nations to say that, I'll be very happy. Nobody says it that.
No, actually, the WHO says that health is a human right, but nobody agrees with them, unfortunately.
I truly believe that it is right. And right means it should be made available to those who need it. And who should make it? The society should make it available to them. That's my fundamental idea.
Absolutely. Now, you said that there are no free lunches, but there are free breakfasts. So could you tell us about your breakfast program, because that positively affects 1 crore children across India. And of course, I tried the ragi, what I would call a ragi smoothie, that you create for children, and it's absolutely delicious. It's very healthy. It fills up your stomach. It's very satiating. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful dish that you've created. Do you have that every morning?
I have sometimes, because my stomach has gone too weak now. My metabolism has really dwindled.
Okay.
15 years of eating all wrong things. So I find it hard to digest ragi now. But yeah, but kids take it. They have iron stomachs. They digest it very well. How it started was, actually it was an afterthought. I was in Bangalore. I was alone. I had left my job. I had nothing doing other than all this work. And many times I would skip breakfast because there was nobody to cook breakfast. So one day I was very hungry and I thought to myself, I am not able to bear hunger for one morning. I know there are kids who go to school without anything in their stomachs. How will they survive? How will they study? And what will be their future? These was a thought lingering in my head. Baba's guidance was there. I think he heard my heart's prayer. And I happened to meet Anand and Sai Prasad. First Anand, of course. And I told him, can we do something about it? I have this guidance and can we do something? And he said, of course, we'll try. So we started with just 50 kids on the outskirts of Bangalore city, near Kengeri, a small village called Dodbele, where 50 kids were kind of accepted in this program. The only condition was they must go to school after breakfast. They can't be fooling around after eating. Second, they must come after a bath. Most of these kids from the tandas, they don't even keep themselves very clean. So we started very, I would say, like an experiment. Kids started coming. 50 kids were being given upma or something like that for breakfast. We got a local hotel to prepare it, and we would just pay them. But eventually the next school saw, the neighborhood school saw, and people started asking, can you do it for us? Can you do it for us? We started expanding. Then we got called by the government, local government officers, who said, you can't just do this like this, you have to take permissions. So we went and took permissions, local permissions, and then from there, the state government permissions came, and it started expanding on its own. And then we thought it was unscalable if we cooked every morning and served them fresh meals. At 7:30, cooking breakfast is very difficult. That too in so many places, and maintaining quality, so many cooks, it's impossible. So we came up with this formula, which is what you call as ragi smoothie. This helps because this is not a big work to cook. It's first of all made of ragi. We all eat ragis, and year of millet made it very popular. So we started buying ragi from a set of farmers in Tumkur district and jaggery from Latur in Maharashtra. And now all this was fortified in our factory in Mudenhalli. And also this whole formula is not designed by, it's been designed by the nutritionists. And it's been certified by food authorities. And also we have research available from National Institute of Nutrition which says what is the impact of this on children in terms of anemia, growth, and other parameters. So it started like that. I think really took off around 2018-19. COVID came and we served the whole Karnataka state for absolutely acutely malnourished and severely malnourished, what you call as SAM and MAM children. That brought us into the limelight of the government's attention. Then we have signed up with a lot of governments, state governments, and we work on a partnership model where we put in something and they put in something. So that is how it has grown, and now it's reaching 1 crore children across 150,000 schools.
Beautiful.
All the way from Himachal Pradesh down to Puducherry. You have from Maharashtra all the way to Odisha. You have length and breadth of the country being covered under that program. It's working very well. And I think I think it is just a smart innovation, I would think, in providing a solution. And that's why it's got scale. And it's quite efficient because it's also, we have 150,000 volunteers working behind the scenes. Every school teacher is our volunteer in every of these schools. So it is a program that runs on just 60 employees. 60 employees are on the rolls of the institute or whatever the foundation. Rest are all volunteers. 150,000 volunteers working across the country for us. And all of them do it happily. They come early, serve the breakfast to the children. They also have a cup of it. The teachers have it. And then they start the school. So yes, it is a wonderful program and I'm very proud of it because it is solving a lot of problems. Because of nutrition, children are healthier, they're attentive in the class, attendance has gone up. So your education budget is working better, your health budget is better because they don't fall sick, they have better immunity, they're growing better, their cognitive skills are better, neuromotor skills are better. So many things are getting solved. And the best part is the farmers from whom we buy, we convince them to convert from inorganic to organic farming. And all 2,000 of them plus in Tumkur area have converted their practices from inorganic to organic farming, which I don't think even governments are able to achieve. It's because we convince them that this is going to your kids and we will pay you the right price if you grow it organically. And we started a farmer certification program also. We now certify these farmers who grow organic ragi. We give them a certificate from our own university. So that is another proud thing for the farmers. Otherwise, farmers are thought of as, just labor economy, not knowledge economy. Now, but now they're a part of the knowledge economy. So that is a lot of wonderful things happen due to nutrition.
No, I mean that I've got so many reactions to what you said. It's absolutely amazing, and every line there was something new that was coming up and something new that was benefiting some part of society. Because if you look at it, if you imagine 1 crore children, that is 10 million children, every morning they go to school, they don't have to wait for a midday meal or they don't have to wait for something that's going to come in later. Right in the morning, as soon as they come to school, they're getting the most nutritious meal they can possibly get. And it's easy to eat, it's convenient, it's just in a cup, and it's absolutely amazing. And also, what you said, I mean that at the end of the day, it's from farmer to school. I mean, so farmer to factory to school to society itself, because it's straight from the farmers. The farmer is benefiting, and I've also found out that you all are directly having relationships with the farmers without any middle persons in between. So the farmers directly benefiting, the farmers making their money, making their livelihood, and also you mentioned organic farming. So you imagine all of these farmers, their children can just run around in their fields without coughing or without any adverse effects that happen to them.
For the environmentalists that you should
Absolutely.
be very happy.
And millet, obviously, everybody knows it uses far less water. It is climate resilient. It's a beautiful crop. It's a superfood. And then after that, it goes to the factory. Factory is absolutely amazing. It is Tukaram certified, as they would say. And then after that, it's benefiting the schools, it's benefiting the children, and through all of this, on the sidelines, the community itself is being very strongly benefited. It's absolutely amazing. Now, what I'd like to ask you is that now, when I'd visited your facility in Mudanahalli, of course, the crowning glory was that hospital. It was absolutely amazing, and I spoke a little bit about it before that. You spoke about it. So the hospital is not just a hospital for poor people or whatever. It's a state-of-the-art facility. It's got robotic surgeries. You can have the most complex surgical procedures. There are 600 beds. So you've done this absolutely to scale, and you've done it in the best possible quality. So could you speak a little bit about that and, what went into it?
Sure. I think we started this hospital in Mudanhalli as a reaction to the COVID, or response to the COVID problem. We had a small hospital that served our community, but I think eventually we realized that the larger society needs more doctors, paramedics, and professionals, but they are not getting there because they pay a lot for their education, especially, in India, a lot of children want to become doctors. Opportunities are few. Things have improved, but not yet there. So we started this hospital, then we started the medical college, and now we started the postgraduate programs. And the crowds are so many, 2,000 almost outpatients a day on an average. And we were just running out of space, and kids are joining, so we had to expand. So we started with the new hospital. It's a 600-bedded facility. And I have to give it to our guests from the US because I was inspired by the Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., because it stands for the idea of democracy. And you have this woman on top, figure on top of the rotunda, the dome. She stands for the idea of freedom. I felt very inspired when I was standing in front of the Capitol Hill, and I felt we should have one like this in India, which stands for democratizing healthcare and education for all. And that's what we did. We got that dome. It is the largest GFRC dome in the world. And on top of that, we got Dhanvantari, who is the god of medicine in India. And that statue stands 21 feet tall. And under that stands a statue of Baba, 21 feet tall statue. And last year, on his 100th year anniversary, we started this thing. Of course, it was built in a record time, just 18 months from the start to finish. And we were largely supported by the Sitaram Jindal Foundation. So we have lovingly named it after Sri Sitaram Jindal, who runs the Jindal Nature Cure Institute, as you know, in Bangalore. So yeah, so that is how it started. And now it offers robotic cardiac surgeries, orthopedic robotic replacements. It provides you with literally 28 or 29 specialties. And it's also affiliated to the NMC, which makes it a medical college teaching hospital as well. And we have some very unique things like in genomics and immunology. It is something that is very expensive. In a country like US, an immune therapy will cost you $500,000. But sometimes that is the only solution. You have nothing else left. But we are trying to provide that here. We have got very good scientists with us. We have got a genetic lab. And as Bharat was saying, every kid of the medical college takes up one gene, studies it, prepares the assay. So that is the kind of work that even kids are doing. Now, this hospital also has a very unique program on pain management. It's by a scientist who is one of the top 2% scientists in the world recognized by Stanford. Dr. Neeraj provides this wellness, longevity, and pain therapies. And people come from around the world. We had the president of Fiji come all the way to India, stay at the ashram. I believe there are more people coming. There are princes, crown princes, because this is something that is solving a problem that they just can't. It is reversing dementia and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's in people. So this is some therapy that he has developed, which is a total unique thing to our institute. So wonderful things are happening in this new building, and you must come and see. If you haven't come, don't come as patients. And if you come, I will definitely treat you. But
hopefully not as patients.
Yeah, not hopefully as patients, just as good visitors and well-wishers. You must see, this is a marvel, this is a miracle of some sorts. And the building itself is iconic, but the work that goes on inside is even more iconic. So I think everybody should come and see that. That's what I would suggest.
Absolutely beautiful. So we're going to be opening this up now for some audience questions. But before that, I just wanted to say that, you know, I'm sure every single person in this audience has been thoroughly inspired by your words and the work that you're doing. And it reminds me that, you know, all the greatest world leaders in this, who have lived before us, like Nelson Mandela, if you look at Martin Luther King Jr. or even Mahatma Gandhi, all of them have said one thing, that for any kind of positive transformation to happen in society, you have to have a top-down movement and you have to have a ground-up movement. Both things are very important. Top-down movement, and both have to work synergistically together. Top-down movement through government, through legislation, through policy change, and of course a ground-up movement through civil societies and people in general. And both movements have to inspire each other. So what you're doing is basically single-handedly taking care of that ground-up movement and hopefully inspiring everybody, including governments and including policymakers, to bring about change. And I think this deserves a really, really big round of applause, I think.
Thank you.
And also, I would like to say that since I mentioned in the beginning that everything is for free, at least I'm inspired to say this myself, that, you know, that if there is any way that you want to financially help anything, like if you've got money and you want to financially help anybody and you want to give it to one particular organization, I would say that, at least from my part, it is going to be this organization, because this organization is truly creating transformation and truly benefiting society. So you wanted to say something, or we'll open it up for questions?
Yeah, you can open it up.
Okay, so we'll open it up for audience questions. Just a housekeeping rule that it has to be a question and it has to be a short one so that we can get to as many people as possible. So not a comment, a question. Quickly introduce yourself and ask your question. I'm sorry if you're making a comment, I may interrupt you.
My humble pranams to Swamiji. I was overwhelmed to visit Budanalli. I have extensively seen all the parts. Swamiji, today you have forgotten about your backyard. I was very much impressed about the Veda classes and the Goshala. Can you explain something on that?
Yeah, we have a Veda Pathshala, which is a traditional Veda Pathshala, blessed by the Sringeri Mahasannidhanam. I went and asked him that we want to start a Veda Pathshala, and he told us what are the do's and don'ts, and we've started. And we also have a statue of Adi Shankaracharya, just like the one in all the way in Himalayas where it was installed. The same kind of statue, the same Yogi Raj who has done that for the government of India, Arun Yogi Raj, from, of course, from Mysore. So it was also installed by the Sannidhanam. And our idea was that a lot of kids who want to study Vedas, they are from very poor families and they can't afford it. It's a 12-year long program and not many people can survive that. So we took them in, and these kids are also given everything free as usual. And they are now studying these 12-year courses. And my idea is that they will spread this Vedic idea of India in the world. And we also provide them with an iOS-based education, that is the National Institute of Open Schooling. So they also study science, maths, computers, English. They all speak good English, by the way. And idea is that when they go around in the world, they should be able to explain the concepts in the language that the world talks, and not just know Sanskritam, but other things. They're very good sports people also. Some of them are very good at that. So that is how we started Veda Pathshala. Obviously, if Veda Pathshala is there. There is a Shiva temple next door for all the Agama, Shastra-related training and pujas. We also have a beautiful Goshala with more than 100 nati cows, the local breeds. We preserve the local breeds, and it's a beautiful Goshala. It's a big circle, and there's a Krishna standing in the center of the Goshala so that all cows look at Krishna. That was the idea. And a small idea of the Gokulam of the past. So these are a part of our Indian traditions, right? Every household had cows. Every household chanted Vedas or made their prayers to the divine. So it's kind of a training for those kids. And I'm very proud to say that some of them have already started traveling to do pujas abroad, to do our cultural presentations abroad. They have traveled with me to Italy, to Europe, to some of the parts of Asia, to do some installations, temple installations and things like that. And they're very, very smart children. They come from small villages and towns, but today they're very smart. So I think, yeah, that is another feature, a feather in our cap, which I'm very, very proud about, because this is also about our heritage and culture that we're preserving on alongside all the other things that we do. Yes, thank you for reminding that.
Sai Ram. Hello.
Sai Ram.
I'm Jagannath, elder brother of Ajay and Vijay. And with the inspiration of Sai Baba and of yours, we started one dialysis center. I think you have visited our center, and it has been completed 5,000. And it is totally free for poor and needy. And as you rightly said, even we don't have any cash counter. And I'm very proud to say today we have completed 25,000 treatment with 4 years completed.
Congratulations, yes.
And the blessings of yours, still it is running strongly. And I need your blessings to take care of our patients. And today we are doing a patient, treatment for 80 people, for poor people. And it has been maintained as a set of art. And we are giving a good treatment and with a good teacher.
Yes, thank you. I remember visiting you, and I'm happy that from 5,000 it has gone to 25,000. A lot of blessings and best wishes.
And you have promised that you will come again to our
I'll try and come again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the gentleman behind you, you can just pass on the mic to the person behind you. Hello.
Sri Madhusudan Sai, you are standing on an elevated place where you can, in the social service, where you can see the in a bigger scope. My question is, are you able to see the end of it?
End of the journey that we have undertaken, I really don't know. I only see the next step. And I think if I try to see the end, I might get overwhelmed. So I just see the next step and do one thing at a time. What is needed for today, I do it. What is needed for tomorrow, we do it again. And that is how we are walking one step at a time on this journey. But yes, my aspirational end of my journey would be that there is no child who is hungry, there is no child who is out of school, there is no child who is denied healthcare access. For that reason, no person is denied these things. And what you said, these are fundamental rights, everybody should have it. I think when that happens, then probably this journey ends. But I think it's a long, long way from here. But I'll live one day at a time and let us see how far I can go in this.
Sadhguru Sai Ram, I'm Lokesh from Vande Bharatam Foundation. What all we have seen now is not just institutions. I should say it's each one is a center of excellence. Their education, health, nutrition. And when I was there, I was very proud and very privileged and humbled to say what you have created is not just a Sai Grama, it's a Pancha Punya Dhama. So with that, humble request, tomorrow we are thinking of Har Ghar Tiranga.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I might get tears. We are ending up in Har Ghar Cancer. We are doing a wonderful work in therapeutic treatment-wise. When can we expect a moment from our own Sai Gram where we just take care of a center of excellence, just to take care of soil, water and air? So where community is involved to totally detox that entire environment so we can leave behind a wonderful legacy for the future to come. Please, over to you, Sai.
Yeah. I think directly we may not be affecting the environment, but indirectly we do. And I understand the problem with water, soil, air, and the environment, which is causing cancers everywhere. We get a lot of farmers who are cancer patients, and many of them are not some smokers or drinkers or people who have some habits. They are simply having cancer because they're living in a farm where the water is already contaminated, or the food that they eat, or whatever is in the air. So it is a sad thing that our farmers suffer the most and they can't even afford treatment. So we eat that inorganic food, we get cancer, we go to the hospital, we get treated. But the farmers don't get treated. And you know, many of these farmers, the families I've seen, when somebody gets cancer, they just put them outside the house on a cot or in the cattle shed. Because they know this person is not going to survive. It's not worth even trying and spending money on them. So they're just left outside as if they're untouchables. And I've seen it with my own eyes, especially the elderly. It hurts. But then, as I said, directly we are doing already so many, and there are people who are taking up, like you people are taking up the project of planting trees and cleaning water bodies. Many of them are doing that. What I'm trying to do instead is trying to move farmers from inorganic to organic farming, trying to create an awareness amongst the buyers and consumers that you must buy from farmers and encourage organic farming by paying them that little extra bit. You see, it is expensive for them because the yields are in the initial years are low. So it takes 5-6 years for them to cross the bridge. But if we handhold them and pay them a little higher price, there is a possibility of them going over to the other side. So that is something that we are encouraging at this point in time. We have cancer-related treatments at our hospital. We do oncosurgeries, we do consultations. We don't have radiotherapy, but we are like getting into immunotherapy, which is far more effective than radiotherapy because this is precision medicine. Radiotherapy is sometimes, you know, it has a lot of side effects. So this is what we are getting into. But yeah, the better thing is to prevent from happening. That is to keep our food and environment, even our minds clean. The stress also is one reason for why these free radicals and all happen inside the body. So yes, we will try whatever best we can. But in the future, we have a plan to also build an oncology center for excellence, which will help detect cancers early. We are working on some of the technologies. Some are even AI-based technologies, which can predict cancer lesions and without even pricking the patient, right? With certain other parameters. So that is something that we are working on to make it affordable and accessible for the last person. I know it will take some time, but the best is to prevent it from happening. But that required a massive movement around the country. Massive movement. Like it can't be just few farmers do it right and the others do it wrong. Net it will be wrong because the water is the same that flows under the earth. So I think a lot of people have to come together. And that is a movement that we have to start. Let us see how far we go with this Ragi Farmers program and slowly spread this. That's what we are trying.
It's a generational problem, so it's going to be very difficult to solve. But one thing is quite amazing listening to you answer these questions, that you're the leader of this organization and you're on top of everything, even though there are so many verticals to handle, and you're able to answer these questions. It's quite commendable. Okay, next question, the lady in the red sari over there. So let's...
Sai Ram Swami. So first I'll introduce myself and then my question. So my name is Aarti. I'm from Jharkhand. I stay Bangalore. I'm a Bal Vikas Guru, handling 30 kids first time Swami student. My guru name is G. Lakshmi. And right now I'm teaching kids. So whenever I teach kids, and this question always arises in my mind, when to listen heart and when to listen mind. So Swami always says, listen to your heart, then you will be in the present moment. Present moment means omnipresent. So my question is, when we have to listen to heart, so we can go in Satya Dharma Shanti Prema Hinsa, and when listen to mind, because mind is something it's controlled 24/7. So how to differentiate?
You should not listen to mind anytime. Always listen to the heart. That is my way. Don't listen to the mind at all. Because mind has its own calculations, you see. It's all about I, me and mind. That is what mind is. Heart is all about us, ours. And that is why never listen to the mind. If you're a teacher, all the more, because then the students are in danger. So you cannot afford.
I always listen to my heart only.
Yes,
But
that's all you should do. Mind you should reject. Every time the mind interferes with your heart, reject the mind.
so how to differentiate it?
Heart will be selfless. There is no anxiety, there is no worry, there is no fear or confusion or doubt when the heart speaks.
Well said. Very, very
When the
well
mind speaks, there will be always two things to it. This or that. Heart is just one straight thing like an arrow, and absolutely no fear, no anxiety, no doubt, no confusion. It's absolute peace when you listen to the heart.
No, absolutely, you articulated it so beautifully, because it's the same with music, you know. Sometimes you're creating music from the mind, you know, because you're trying to create music which people like. But when you create music from the heart, then automatically you know exactly what you want to do, because you want to love the music that you create, you know.
Absolutely, and you know it when you know it.
Absolutely.
That's how it is.
Beautifully said. Okay. Yeah, you can give it to
we
her.
promised her the mic. So
I know, she's been waiting.
Namaskara, my name is Vasanthi Hariprakash. Profound as well as fascinating talk, Sadguru Sai, and questions by Ricky are also so relevant. My question is, I'm curious, how do you make compassion and service institutionally and financially viable? Because it's one thing for you to have that consciousness. How do you make sure it's there and you're building institutions across the world? And a quick sub-question. It's wonderful to hear you speak Kannada, in the sense Basavanna as your inspiration. So who are the people who inspire you besides Satya Sai Baba? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, how do we create an institution which is fueled by compassion, that is actionable compassion? As Ricky said very nicely, you have sympathy, and then you have empathy, and then you have compassion, which actions itself, doesn't just stay in your heart. So our mission is all about actionable compassion. I keep telling them, compassion in action. How do I build this culture, and how do we build institutions? I think compassion is intrinsic to all beings. We are all having compassion in our heart, beyond sympathies and empathies. Some of us express it, some of us just hold it in our hearts. For the fear of losing something, for the fear of what will the world say, for the fear of, I have many other pressing priorities and so many other calculations of the mind that does not allow you to show your compassion. But we are all compassionate beings. Tell me, is there anyone in this hall whose heart is not moved if they see a hungry child or a sick person or somebody in trouble? Our hearts move, but then our hands don't move because head comes in the way. It doesn't allow our hands to move and do something about it. So that is where in our organization, I have taught people to be fearless when it comes to being compassionate. Don't have that fear, what will others say, what will happen to me. I say, when you do for others, the universe has a way to return it to you a multifold. And it has its way to protect you. It has its way to provide for you. You have to trust the process of compassion. Not everybody does that. But in our organization, we have been able to manage to create the culture, because I think it starts from the top. You lead with an example, others follow you. And I have been very lucky that we have attracted so many good people to ourselves. Every single employee, you go to talk to a gatekeeper in our institution, and without any hesitation or fear, I can tell you, he will talk the same language of compassion as the senior cardiac surgeon, as the teacher in the school, so also the chairperson of the trust. That culture of compassion has percolated, and it has to be top down. It has to be driven by the leadership. They have to be fearless. When I started, Baba gave me 3 words. I will share with them. I tell our students also. The first was be selfless. 2, be fearless. And 3, be shameless when it comes to doing compassion. Don't worry about what others think. That's how compassion becomes actionable. And you had the other question, the second one I forgot. who inspires me beyond after Satya Sai Baba? Of course, he's my biggest inspiration. He's like walking, talking, living inspiration for everyone who comes across. And not many people know him. If you know him, you have to be inspired. There is no other way. After that, I've been inspired by very many people and their lives. So it's very difficult to point a finger and say, this is the person. But I think in general, I'm very inspired by the idea of womanhood and motherhood. My own mother inspires me. She worked very hard for us to look after us, to raise us. And I know there are millions of mothers who do this for their children. And my heart goes out to every single of them. I feel they don't still get the respect that they deserve in the society. Sometimes their work is unrecognized. It is or not celebrated as much it should be. So I think my heart, I do get inspired by a lot of mothers who have done so much for their children. You know, they go out of their way to do it. I'm not saying fathers don't do it. They do it, but I think mothers do it better any day. There is something about their motherhood, so that inspires me. And a lot of saints inspire me. I think Saint Francis of Assisi inspires me.
Beautiful example.
Yeah, we have an ashram in Assisi in Italy. And I always love sitting there and watching the Mount Subasio and also go to the Porciuncola. He inspires me. Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda is one of the biggest inspirations for me. He's a man of action, you know, he's not a man of words, he's a man of action. So his life and his message inspires me. If I go a little back further, I think Adi Shankara inspires me for what he did for our culture in those days and times when, you know, we were under tremendous threat. Our culture was under threat. They inspire me. So yes, there are spiritual figures, there are social workers, there are many people. And yesterday I was telling in another forums, who else inspires me? We came across a surgery that was performed on a Bihar-based man who was 37 years old with 3 kids, came to Mudanhalli to get his surgery. He had a rheumatic heart disease, leaking valves, and he was in big mess. And nobody would do it. That will cost you at least 20 lakh rupees to get the whole thing in order. And he was just here helplessly waiting for a surgery. We took him in, performed an 8-hour-long surgery on him, closed the chest, got him into the ICU. He was recovering. Suddenly in the middle of the night, he starts bleeding again. Something went wrong. At 1 a.m., our doctors opened the chest again, repair everything that has gone wrong. But that moment, you need warm blood. You can't take it from blood bank. You need warm blood, a transfusion. And where do we get at 1 a.m. warm blood? The junior doctor, the surgeon, walks out of the OT, descrubs, gives his own blood to this patient through the surgeon. That inspires me. The blood bank manager comes and says, oh, that is not enough. He goes into the blood bank, he gives his own blood at 1 a.m. in the night. Who does this for anybody else? That too for some worker from Bihar who's of really no consequence to the world, so to say. But he's a father of 3. He must go back healthy. He must look after his family and raise his children well. And for that sake, whatever it takes as a hospital, as an institution, we do. So all this inspires me. There are hundreds and thousands of such stories I can tell you all night. They all inspire me.
Beautiful. Okay, one question from this side. Yeah, the gentleman who's raising his hand. Somebody please pass him the microphone.
Namaste. Yeah. Namaste, Swamiji. My name is Veera Narayana. I work as a journalist. I have 2 questions. When we heard Muddenahalli, we remember Sir M. Vishweshwaraya, erstwhile Diwan of Mysore and great engineer. And we also read and heard how he studied under the street light and how he became to that level. So in Muddenahalli, we have seen the videos, world-class institution, one side school, colleges, medical institution, and Goshala, Veda class, and medical colleges and hospital. Everything is free. But my question is, when we come to free, everything is free, we used to taken as a granted. In that sense, what is the responsibility of the society and what is the responsibility of the beneficiary to return that thing? One is that. And another thing is, tomorrow we are celebrating 80th Independence Day. What is your message to the Gen Z? Thank you.
Yeah. I think because the last question, I'll take the liberty of answering it in a little detail. Yes, Sir M. Vishweshwaraya is such an iconic Indian. You know, he's a Bharat Ratna coming from a small village of Mudenalli. Even today, it is not a very developed village, except for what we have done there. It's more or less the same. But Sir M. Vishweshwaraya was a young kid who had dreams, who had vision, and who walked all the way to Bangalore just to write an exam because he couldn't pay for the fares or the examination fee. That boy went on to build great infrastructure for the country. Even today, KRS Dam or Mysore Sandal Soap, or name it, so many industries that he created as a Diwan of Mysore. So that is amazing contribution. We also have started a center in his name in our institution. It's called Sir M. Vishweshwaraya Center for Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning. So that is dedicated to him. And kids from rural India through our Rural Shows initiative are getting trained in that center. It just inaugurated last month. So that is something that is happening, and I'm very proud that we are able to do as something in his name, so to say, because he's an engineer by his training. So obviously, from that point of view, so we give it free because we think everybody deserves. If Sir Vishweshwaraya had to work so hard to even walk all the way to Bangalore to write his exam because he can't pay bus fare, that's unfair to a brilliant mind like Sir Vishweshwaraya, who could have been anything else, but world had not been fair to him and nobody knew. But he fought for his rightful position. He did what he did for the country. He had choices to stay back in the UK and never return to India. Today, people don't come back to India saying, oh, there are so many problems in India. We have better, greener pastures abroad. But these are the people in those days came back and worked for the country, where they did not have much opportunities. But that is what Sir M. Vishweshwaraya is about, giving back, pay it forward. Even though he didn't receive as much he deserved from the society, he nevertheless gave much more. And I tell everybody who gets anything for free from us or anybody is, this is free for you, but it is not free for us who provides it to you. Yeah. Somebody is paid for you. Somebody has done this for you. Now you do it for somebody else in the future. That is why I'm inspired by girls like Srisha who say, you did this for me. I want to go back to Nepal and do it for many more people of my town. That is the pay it forward model. Yeah. That is what I'm trying to inspire people. Like with one candle, you can light so many more candles. So that is what they should do, who are the recipients and beneficiaries of this mission. They should become givers and benefactors tomorrow once they are in that position to look after themselves and then also take care of others. So that is how we can change the world, is the way forward for us. And on the other question, is the 80th Independence Day, and we have a plenty of Gen Z doing great things around. You know, they are changing the whole political discourse of the country. You can imagine, you can get the Prime Minister to stay up in the night and do a reel. And you never heard of that because Gen Z only understands that. And I have to, I think, start learning how to do reels. I think you can give me a tip or two, Ricky.
Let's do that.
So the idea is that Gen Z is a tremendous generation with tremendous opportunities, talent, potential, and idealism. I think that is what defines Gen Z, idealism. But idealism, if directed correctly, they can transform this nation. I am a big believer because all my students are Gen Z, right? All of the people who are studying in our institutions. And that is Gen Alpha who's raising the hand, by the way. This is not Gen Z. One kid is trying to ask a question. So the Gen Z, for me, the only thing that I want to tell them is that you have so much of energy, you have so much of idealism. Use it right. Use it right. That's all I can tell Gen Z. You have so much to give back to the world. Use it right, do it right, and don't be inspired by wrong examples. Be inspired by the right ones, and you can change the world.
Wonderfully said. I'm sorry, but we'll have to end the questions now. My sincere apologies. Now, you take music very seriously. It's very obvious because the thing is that among all the things that I absolutely love about you, the thing which I love the most is that, you know, you take music very seriously. In fact, if you look at even the invocation song this morning, it's not the first time that I've heard a group of people from your organization singing an invocation song. There was another event where there were a group of boys who actually sang, and they were absolutely fantastic. Perfectly in pitch, perfectly in key, singing in beautiful unison. Pronunciations were absolutely perfect. Today, in fact, the girls, they came up in front and then they sang on that podium. They used the podium microphone. Me being a musician, I use a lot of technology in my music and I use a lot of technology in my performances. I was horrified that how could they use the podium mic? They need to have a different set of microphones and they need to have different kinds of a different kind of technology for actually presenting that performance. But they sang on the podium microphone and they sounded so beautiful, which is a beautiful showcase that sometimes if the performers are absolutely amazing and the performers are very well trained and they are absolutely skilled, the technology actually does not matter because technology is a tool. And they sounded so beautiful. I think a big round of applause to them. So this is how seriously that music is taken in this particular institute. And of course, you've got a symphony orchestra that's going to be performing right now. And if I can take a minute of your time, I just wanted to say why that is so inspiring. Now, I work with symphony orchestras all over the world. I've worked with pretty much every symphony orchestra you can imagine anywhere in any corner of the globe. And whenever I work with a symphony orchestra, and you've heard me say this once before, that the one thing that it reminds me of is the nation of India. Now, you may say that a symphony orchestra is a Western form of music. It's not an Indian form of music. How does it remind you of India? But it reminds me of India simply because a symphony orchestra has got various instruments. You will see that being played today. And I hope all of you will stay back for this concert and watch it. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. So a symphony orchestra has got a violin, a soft instrument. Then it's got a timpani, which is a percussion instrument and a really loud instrument. And then it's got a harp, a very angelic instrument. And then a tuba, a very, very loud wind instrument. Now, each instrument is not trying to be another instrument. Like a violin is not trying to be a tuba is not trying to be a harp is not trying to be a timpani. All of them are maintaining their own unique identity, their unique sound, their unique philosophy. But yet, when the whole orchestra plays together, they play together beautifully as one. Now, in India, we've got the concept of oneness in Hinduism, Buddhism, even Islam has it, Christianity has it, all pretty much Jainism, Sikhism, everybody has got this particular concept of oneness. Now, we are mistaking that concept of oneness as being uniform. You know, and a symphony orchestra teaches us that it's not about being uniform. It's about maintaining your own unique philosophy and unique identity, but yet coming together beautifully, harmoniously as one. In India, you travel 200 kilometers in any direction, you're going to find a new religion, a new, a new culinary taste. People look different, new language, new dialect. But yet, India works together beautifully as one, as a symphony orchestra. And also, working as a team, there is nothing better that you can educate the younger generation about working as a team, and there's nothing better as a symphony orchestra. And in fact, the Sai Symphony Orchestra, and I can tell you this, is the only homegrown symphony orchestra in the whole of India. With 1.4 billion people in India, we don't have even one orchestra. New York has got about 5 orchestras. Brisbane, a small city in Australia, has got 4 orchestras. We don't even have one orchestra. And so the Sai Symphony Orchestra is an inspiration to many. It's at least an inspiration to me. And hopefully I will get to collaborate with them soon and come up with something beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Well said about symphony being harmonizing everybody and everybody being themselves, yet being together. That's uniqueness, that is India, that is Bharatiyata. And I'm very happy. And they're going to play some of my favorite numbers. I just want to...
Pirates of the Caribbean, your favorite.
Pirates of the Caribbean, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes.
And of course, Turkish March of Mozart. And they're going to play some of our national songs also, I think Vande Mataram and others. But these are some of my favorite. I think they also going to play themes from James Bond and
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible they're going to play, and I think from the Rocky film, Rocky, Gonna Fly Away. So there are a lot of nice things coming up, those who enjoy Western music. I used to play clarinet in my band, in my institute when I was a student. So I understand Western music. I also understand Hindustani. So that is why we have that musical ear for things in our institute. And every child from 6th onwards learns music. They learn ragas, they learn bhajans, and eventually they can, if they want to transition into proper musicians, we have a Nada Gurukulam, which is run by Dr. Revati Ramachandran, who was the ex-director of Kalakshetra. And we have Bharatnatyam, Kuchipudi, we have got Hindustani, Carnatic, both vocals and percussions and instruments, as well as the Western ensemble. So we have a very good offering for the world.
No, and the benefit of learning music at that young age, it cannot be underestimated, So I think a big round of applause to Sadhguru.
Behind the stage. They are going to come up now. So I know it's been long. We started late. So sorry, I was coming from Mudenhalli and I didn't expect the traffic near Jakur and then in I know the Hebbal and everything else. But you stayed on. You waited for us. I'm very grateful for that. And I'm looking forward to you visiting us in Mudenhalli. Hope the traffic won't be so much for you because you're on the other side of the city. And do come. Do stay with us. Do enjoy a little peaceful me time with us. And should you want to get a genetic test done, we will do it for free. And you will know what your life going to look like in the future. So thank you, Ricky, so much for this.
Big round of applause. What a beautiful and inspiring conversation. Thank you, Sadhguru. Thank you, Dr. Ricky Kej. Thank you. Please be seated. As a mark of our appreciation, we extend our gratitude to Dr. Ricky Kej for his valued presence and contribution this evening. Distinguished guests and dear friends, all the services that we have seen, heard about the experience today are not merely the efforts of one organization. They are part of a great yajna of service which continues through the participation and support of the society. Those who wish to join this journey of service may choose to support the mission's work in providing nutritious food, education, and healthcare to children and families in need. Every contribution from you can play a significant role in shaping the future of a child, bringing a ray of hope into the life of a family and contributing towards building a better society. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to participate, please complete the support card and submit it to the volunteers at the registration and reception center before you leave. You will find the support card in your bag. The opportunity to serve is itself a blessing. Our heartfelt gratitude to every one of you who joins hands in this yajna of service. Thank you. We have a wonderful symphony orchestra coming up. Language has its limits. Music, however, speaks directly to the heart. It crosses boundaries and brings people together. And now we are delighted to present the Sai Symphony Orchestra, one of the largest youth symphony of orchestras in India. This young orchestra has been nurtured and trained under the guidance and mentorship of internationally renowned music director Dr. Dimitris Lambrianos. Dr. Lambrianos has trained musicians to perform more than 20 different instruments. This young orchestra brings together nearly 200 talented students from rural areas across different states of India, united through the power of music. From school students to university students, these young artists coming from diverse backgrounds are today achieving global recognition through their discipline, talent, dedication, and immense love for music. One of the proudest achievements of the orchestra was its participation in a single choral symphony in 2025 that brought together artists from the highest number of countries, earning a place in the Guinness World Records. As cultural ambassadors of the great One World, One Family mission, the Sai Symphony team is spreading the message of harmony across the world through music. Let us welcome the Sai Symphony Orchestra with a big round of applause.
We would now like to introduce our teacher, a Greek-American musician and educator, an accomplished multi-instrumentalist. He is proficient in over 30 instruments and has performed at prestigious venues across the world. Having taught extensively in both Europe and the United States, he now dedicates his expertise to nurturing the next generation of musicians here at the Sai Symphony Orchestra. Please join us in welcoming Dr. Dimitris Lambrianos onto the stage.
Karnataka is more than a place we belong to. Its language, its traditions, its music, and its spirit have enriched the cultural heritage of our country. These sentiments live beautifully in Jai Bharata Jananiya Tanujate, written by Rashtra Kavi Kuvempu. With pride in our roots and gratitude for this land, we present the Karnataka's Nadagite. We request you all to rise for the state anthem.
Our next piece is Gonna Fly Now, the theme from the film Rocky, composed by Bill Conti. For this piece, we will have Jeevan Sai on the guitar. Gonna Fly Now.
Get ready for an exhilarating musical adventure as the orchestra brings to life the legendary theme from the film Pirates of the Caribbean. Up next, we have a popular theme from the movie series James Bond, composed by Monty Norman.
The word hallelujah comes from the Hebrew expression meaning praise the Lord. Simple yet profound, it has long been an expression of reverence, gratitude, and hope. Composed by Leonard Cohen, this hymn speaks of the glory of God. For this piece, we have Sangshit on the Chinese flute, Sai Shankar on the harp, Mr. Spencer on the trumpet, and Dr. Dimitris on the soprano saxophone, the duduk, and the pan flute. Hallelujah.
Up next, we have a popular song, Havana, composed by Camila Cabello, which has won the Grammy Award for the Best Album Song at the 61st Grammy Awards. Havana.
The next song we have for you is Turkish March. This composition is the final movement of Mozart's Piano Sonata number 11, presenting to you the Turkish March.
Ennio Morricone's theme for the good, the bad, and the ugly is one of the most iconic pieces ever written for the screen. Bold, distinctive, and timeless, it has become a landmark in cinematic music. We now present the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Unfolding next is the theme from the film Mission Impossible, composed by Lalo Schifrin. With its unique rhythm and energetic pace, this piece sets the stage for a thrilling musical experience.
We now turn to Gypsy Dance, a song from Bulgaria, a living Bulgarian piece filled with spirited rhythms, vibrant energy, but with an Indian flavor, bringing a taste of Bulgarian folk tradition to the stage. For this piece, we will have Dr. Dimitris on the bouzouki.
సగమన నిసగమద నిసగరి సని దప మగరి సని రి సా 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 గరి సని దప మగరి సని రి సా 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 గరి సని దప మగరి సని రి సా సా సా.
The final countdown, a dynamic and iconic piece which continues to captivate audiences around the world, released by the band Europe in 1986.
And ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the final piece of this evening, we turn to a song that holds a special place in the heart of every Indian, Vande Mataram. As we celebrate our 80th Independence Day tomorrow, this song reminds us of the land we call home and the freedom we cherish every moment. Let us come together in sincere gratitude and pride as the Sai Symphony Orchestra presents Vande Mataram, a tribute to our motherland and to the spirit of this holy country.
That was a wonderful evening performance. I think for the children that they are, I think they've done quite well, isn't it, Ricky? Yes, I think they have done quite well. And they can, of course, always do better. I'm never done with asking for more. Yeah, so I think just a word from you and then we close the evening.
So I watched the orchestra perform, I think about 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. And I think it's been even at that time, it was pretty amazing. But today has been a huge, huge improvement. So much so that, because me being a musician, when I'm listening to an orchestra, I'm always trying to listen to the different parts and I'm trying to listen to the musical elements and what everybody's playing. But then here, after the first song, I forgot about all of that and I was just sitting and enjoying the orchestra and I was sitting and enjoying the performance and I was humming along with the tunes and in fact, with the good, bad and the ugly and hallelujah, I almost started getting tears in my eyes. So it was very emotionally strong. And when you can emotionally impact a person who is a critical musician, I think you've done an extremely good job. All of y'all have played beautifully together. I think it's excellent. Even the visuals, the lighting, everything worked together beautifully. And I think this guy is an absolute genius. And I think under Sadhguru's guidance, I think this is going to go from strength to strength. It'll be one of the best orchestras in the world, I'm sure.
I thank you. With that, we bring this evening to a close. So I just want to thank on my behalf and on behalf of all these children. You stayed so long and you waited for this to finish. So for that, a big thank you on behalf of all our students. And as you see, there are girls and the boys, and a special word for the girls because they got this instrument just 1.5 years ago, but they had to pick it up and match up with the boys, who were practicing for the last 10 years. But they have done a great job and they did a big catching up. So special appreciation for the girls. Can you just stand up, girls? Just stand up, yeah. There are more, but they're in Mudenalli. Yeah, good job. Very good job. All right.
Thank you very much for your presence and for helping making this evening meaningful. We wish each of one of you a safe and pleasant journey. Thank you. Good night and Jai Hind.